Mr Chairman, I'm James Maxwell Scott and I represent the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea, instructed by DWF. Before turning to some specific topics, I would like to make some introductory points. We have listened very carefully to the submissions made yesterday on behalf of bereaved family members, survivors and former residents. Many valid points were made which seem to us to derive from two central themes. First, the centrality to this inquiry of the bereaved, of the survivors and of the former residents. Secondly, the importance of transparency. RBKC respectfully agrees with the importance of both of those themes. Sir, you and many others present today may already be aware of the resolution adopted by the full Council at its meeting on Wednesday, the 6th of December, but I hope that you will forgive me reminding you of it. The subject matter of the resolution was the report of Bishop Jones, which was referred to in some of yesterday's submissions. The resolution was proposed by the Leader of the Council, Elizabeth Campbell, and passed unanimously. The full text of the resolution can be found on the Council's website, but I hope that it will assist if I read some extracts from it. The resolution began by stating, "This Council notes the publication of the report by the Right Reverend James Jones, Bishop of Liverpool and Chair of the Hillsborough Independent Panel." It also stated, "In line with the report's recommendations, this Council reaffirms its commitment to be open, transparent and fully cooperative with the public inquiry into the Grenfell Tower fire, the inquests into the deaths in the fire and the police investigation." The resolution went on to set out 6 numbered commitments, of which I will read 3 if I may. We commit to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea becoming an organisation which strives to place the public interest above our own reputation. We commit to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea becoming an organisation which strives to approach forms of public scrutiny, including public inquiries and inquests, with candour, in an open, honest and transparent way, making full disclosure of relevant documents, material and facts. Our objective is to assist the search for the truth. We accept that we should learn from the findings of external scrutiny and from past mistakes. We commit to the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea becoming an organisation which strives to avoid seeking to defend the indefensible or to dismiss or disparage those who may have suffered where we have fallen short. So I now turn to my submissions on specific topics. I have 3 topics which I wish to cover, and they are disclosure, experts, and the split between Phase 1 and Phase 2. Turning first to disclosure. So, as you will have deduced from the resolution passed by the Council last week, we are sympathetic to the submissions made yesterday about the importance of a disclosure process being transparent and of the need for participation to be informed by disclosure in order for it to be meaningful. RBKC received a detailed request for disclosure from the solicitor to the inquiry on the 24th of August. We have provided your team with disclosure in response to that request and with a signed disclosure statement. That disclosure statement, dated the 8th of November, runs to 52 paragraphs plus appendices, and you will probably be pleased to hear that I do not intend to read all of it into the record. However, it may assist if I refer to a small number of paragraphs from it, because they may help to answer some of the questions raised, entirely legitimately, yesterday. RBKC received notice from the Metropolitan Police to retain all data across its servers on the 20th of June. RBKC's Shared Information and Communications Technology Service Infrastructure Manager ensured that, upon receipt of a letter, all data held on RBKC's storage area network was duplicated to create a stable copy. meaning that the data could not be changed or modified. The amount of data preserved in this manner was around 80 terabytes in total. DWF, through their forensic services providers, began extracting documents from RBKC servers on the 3rd of July. The data was processed, then added to an online review platform, Relativity, chosen by DWF for, amongst other reasons, its advanced service searching capabilities. Subsequently, a large number of documents were uploaded onto Relativity. By the 8th of November, 1,516,427 documents have been uploaded onto Relativity. DWF and their forensic services providers can confirm that no documentation has been redacted, altered, or tampered with in any way since being received by DWF or their forensic services providers. And so, pausing there, I can state that all of those 1.5 million documents have been disclosed to the police. So, returning then to how disclosure has been given to your team, those documents were searched electronically by running keyword search terms across them. The search terms used have been provided to your team in an appendix to the disclosure statement. That process resulted in 90,563 responsive documents. The team was then set up manually to review those documents, and the disclosure statement explains the nature of the team and how it worked. The outcome of the manual review process was that 12,918 documents were disclosed to your team by the 8th of November. The concluding section of the disclosure statement addressed the ongoing duty of disclosure. It stated, DWF and RBKC understand that they have an ongoing duty of disclosure to provide the inquiry of documents identified after the 31st of October as being relevant to the request. It concluded by stating, DWF and RBKC understand that the inquiry may request that further searches of Relativity be carried out using additional search terms notified to them by the inquiry. DWF and RBKC also understand that the inquiry may request additional information beyond that identified in the request. DWF and RBKC will cooperate fully with any such requests from the inquiry. So you've heard me refer to our disclosure statement and to endorse the importance of transparency in the disclosure process. We are conscious that we are just one of 31 document providers, and therefore we leave it to you and your team to decide how best to achieve greater transparency in this important area. I can take my remaining 2 points more shortly. Firstly, experts. So you have my submission that it would greatly assist all call participants if expert reports could be provided sooner than 1 month before the start of Phase 1 evidential hearings, and I don't propose to expand upon it further here. And my final point, the Phase 1, Phase 2 split. As indicated in my written submissions, we recognise that the views of the bereaved, the survivors, and of the former residents on the timetabling of Phase 1 and the Phase 1, Phase 2 split are of primary importance. There's no perfect solution to this because some issues inevitably have the potential to overlap between phases. At this stage, I will restrict myself to the following general points. By the time Phase 1 starts, there needs to be clarity as to which issues will be addressed and whether any views expressed on them in an interim report will be provisional or final. These issues need to be clarified in sufficient time to enable all call participants to prepare for Phase 1. Of course, some residual flexibility will need to be retained. Fairness to all call participants must be ensured. So we noted Mr. Friedman's submission that provisional recommendations could be made before the end of Phase 1, and we respectfully agree. If, at any stage, you reach a point where the information you have received leads you to consider that you should make a safety critical recommendation as a matter of urgency, you can, after inviting and receiving submissions, make it, and in appropriate cases should do so. So unless I can assist any further, those are my submissions.
Well, thank you very much. Could I trouble you perhaps on two matters which arose in the course of submissions yesterday, on which you, as an important core participant, may or may not have a view. One is the establishment of what I think we've called a consultative panel. This was something I suggested, I think, to Mr. Mansfield in the course of his submissions. Do you have any observations to make on that?
Certainly have no objection to that. No. It seemed a sensible suggestion.
All right, thank you very much. The other matter was a suggestion which I think may have come from Mr. Weatherby, I can't quite pin it down, which was that we might invite some people to provide position statements, and I think the Council would probably be one party to whom such a request would be directed. Do you want to say anything about that? Is it a good idea, or?
I will say something about that, sir. The inquiry rules permit core participants to make an opening statement and a closing statement, as you know. Unless you direct otherwise, it would be my intention, on behalf of RBKC, to make an opening statement and a closing statement. Those opening statements will assist the inquiry and other core participants by setting out RBKC's position on a range of issues. Of course, if you consider it would be helpful to have an indication of RBKC's position before the start of Phase 2, on Phase 2 issues, you have a number of options. You could direct written Phase 2 opening statements be provided in advance, or you could direct something very similar but call it a position statement. We wouldn't in principle object to such an approach. I don't know what timing is being considered, but we would submit it would be premature to order position statements now. If position statements are to provide you with real assistance, there will, as a minimum, we suggest, have needed first to be meaningful disclosure in relation to the issues, sufficient time to analyse the relevant documents, probably cite all relevant expert reports, and time to take instructions. But we're certainly not opposed in principle.
All right. That's very helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, the next speaker on my running order is Ms. Jarrett. Yes.